How's it going, everyone, and welcome back. I am back to working on the 72 SS 454 Chevelle tonight. The situation with the garage here, I may or may not have mentioned it before. It's wood frame construction and there's some termite damage, and it appears they found their way back into the building. So you can see all this stuff here is falling from the truss. Maybe you can even see it splintered up there. Yeah? Yeah. Let me get a better view. Yeah. That one right there is really bad. And at any rate, I don't need this falling in on the car. So I needed, even if this wasn't the situation, I needed to get my butt back to work on this car. It's been sitting. It's, God, I've owned it since '07, and I've never driven it. So with all that out of the way, story time, right? Yeah, since the last time I've been out here, if you've seen any of the shorts on this, I cleaned and repainted the alternator, upper and lower brackets. Got them reinstalled, just put fan belts back on, water pump pulley, my negative cable, this clip that holds the two heater hoses, just kind of piddly stuff, I suppose. But this solenoid, it's like a high idle. When you kick the AC on, it's got a little plunger back here on the back side that goes against the throttle arm on the carburetor and raises the idle so it doesn't stall. I put that back on. Done a little bit more cleaning because, as you can see, despite all the cleaning I've done, it's still filthy, like body work dust and just dust in general. So that's where we're at right now. Gonna keep plugging along. I need to get the lower fan shroud installed and down in here, and then I can put the fan on, and then I can do the upper shroud, upper radiator hose. Need to fill this thing with some coolant and some water, a 50-50 mix. I just in general need to make sure everything I've done is tightened, tension these belts, and lead pipe for the exhaust system on the driver's side still laying on the floor. I need to install that. So that's what we're going to try and knock out tonight. And if I get that far, realistically I need to go get a battery tomorrow and put some fresh gas I have for it in and try and start this thing and get it up and running like I've been talking about for what seems like a couple months now. And then I need to find a place to put it for a week or two while I make some temporary emergency repairs in here so that I can remove all the trim off the car and set the front and rear glass, and then it can go to paint jail for some paint correction and come back for reassembly. Then it'll be front end alignment, finish the exhaust, and charge the AC, and we'll have a running driving car once again. Amazing. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and set the camera up on the tripod and get back to work here. All right, as you can see, made some pretty good progress. Fans on, belts are on. Just notice while I'm talking to you, looking at this, nut right here is loose, still finger tight with this alternator bracket. So I need to go ahead and address that. Next will be my upper radiator hose. Yeah, I think I'll pretty much leave it there for the night. I don't know. 'Cause it would be a matter of hanging that exhaust and putting some water and fuel in it. It's full of oil. I may pull the coil wire and just crank it tomorrow initially to get it to prime the oil system up. I've primed it, but it's been, like I said, months, so it's run down, but I did put a nice coating of everything in there, so fingers crossed, because this is still a flat tappet cam, that it doesn't wipe it, even though it's been broken in at one time. Yes, I put some zinc additive, plus it has the Driven brand hot rod oil in it, so. But sometimes, as we all know, even when you do everything right, it doesn't necessarily always work out. So this upper radiator hose here, something I'm correcting. I had this one on the car. It's too long, I had to trim it. I've always been bothered I didn't get a perfect smooth cut there. Well, now they make the hoses the correct length, and the markings are actually more correct as well. So, doesn't matter to a lot of people. Did me when building this car. That's still a good upper hose. I'll use it on something. But, for now, we'll put the right hose on this car, and that will be that. All right. Yeah, it's been apart so long, I forget how things go. Terrible. Okay. Okay. I get these clamps to cooperate. That one was not terrible. And I tend to try and lean them so they don't interfere with things, like the hood. This one I'm going to have to approach differently because of the rib on the radiator here. Jesus. This spot right here on the neck, it's just terrible to get it over. That might not work so well either. Come on. Come on. Got a little bit of ATF sitting in the cylinders of this engine next to me. We'll steal a little bit of that and see if it gives us the advantage we need to get this hose on. Oh yeah, like a dream. Kind of double checking my work as I go through things. So far, so good. Wrong size. No. I just think it's a pain to get to, apparently. All right. Good to go. So far so good. Like I said, I'm going to leave it off there. This was very incomplete. Pick you guys up here and bring you in here a little closer. Use my light from my cell phone. So that fitting right there on the intake behind the carburetor there, I had to dig that out. It had a 2-port fitting. I needed a 1-port. I don't know why I had a 2-port one on there. I had the other one plugged. It was ugly. But yeah, a little bit more scrubbing, and like I said, need to get some fuel and coolant in this and a fresh battery over there, and we'll fire it. So I think off camera I'm going to put that exhaust pipe on right now, and tomorrow we'll grab a battery and throw fuel and coolant in it and see what happens. All right. As always, stay tuned. Thanks for hanging in there with me. And be ready to see a startup video of this.